I'm loving it. If you guys missed it, Enrique said,
Enrique.
and JP Enchilada said that he was going to create us a intro, and he just gave us McDonald's because he's hungry. Welcome back to the Horn Report. I'm Mike Murphy. This is JP Yaquidez. Did I say it right?
Urquidez. Yep, we're good. That was perfect.
I did. And then Mr. Landon Holyfield of the Landon Show. Gentlemen, let's just, I don't care how your weekend was because we all know how it ended. Let's just jump right into it. The Texas Longhorns, once again, have a solid showing in the first half. Go to halftime, up, right? And then the second half, sputter, whatever words you want to call, like get the yips. It's a sports terminology.
That's exactly what it is.
That's a dangerous word. Yeah.
So y'all tell me what's going on. Like first of all, let's recap. Like where are you guys at mentally on the team? And then we'll kind of dive into some other stuff. But where are we at mentally and like what is going on? Landon, I'll start with you.
Well, first true road start for your freshman quarterback when conditions aren't even remotely ideal for throwing the football. That's kind of the contributing factors to what we saw on Saturday, which in large part, in my opinion, was the collapse in the second half. This isn't another one of those classic cases of Steve Sarkisian's second half blunders happening again, in my opinion. The reason is because obviously JP can speak to this, I'm sure. And if you're one-dimensional in either direction offensively, you're pretty much screwed. And that's exactly what happened to Texas on Saturday. Quinn Ewers inexplicably, 38% completions. That kind of speaks for itself. It was a tough go.
I mean, looking like a god versus Oklahoma. And looked like a freshman playing his first road game. Now, obviously, now you got to take into consideration the wind was 40 miles an hour. So, JP, you can talk to this a little, give us more insight of like what it's like to play there and the actual wind and all that BS. But like, he was missing throws. He was.
Yeah.
What do you think was
not just missing? It was like
Kirk Cousins.
Was he throwing too?
It was Kirk Cousins bad.
Yeah. So clearly there was, he was affected by the weather conditions, by the atmosphere, whatever it was, being on the road. Like I said, this is his first true road start. He's got experience against Alabama, but that was at home. He's got experience in a hostile environment, but that was the most lopsided game maybe of his career to date, even back in high school. I don't know if he ever shut somebody out 49-0. So obviously different set of circumstances in Stillwater, Oklahoma, right? And you lose the amount of pieces that we did in the secondary. Clearly we saw what happened a week ago when Ryan Watts exits the ball game. It gets pretty ugly, and that's because this coaching staff is in year 2 of trying to rebuild a broken program, for lack of a better term, right? So there's a lot of things that go into it. I want to hear JP's take, and I'll shut up, but obviously very frustrating. But there's a lot of things you can point to without just completely writing off your head coach. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, and that's my – you're good. That's my thing, guys. Like, let's get to that. The media, the Texas, Longhorn media, who they claim they are, right? There's some names that we could drop that are just ridiculous, looking for clickbait, saying that, you should fire. It's time to start questioning if you let Stark go. You should pull Quinn Ewers and play Hudson Card, this, that, and a third. And it's just like, JP, give us your thoughts on, is it time to let Sark go?
Yeah. First, I saw your text. Can you hear me right now?
Sounds clear.
Yeah, we got you.
All good.
Okay, making sure I'm clear. I don't want to have another segment missed. But, yeah, no, after playing there for 4 years, plenty of headlines that we saw reading on Sundays. Time to fire the coach. The quarterback should have been benched, whatever it may have been. Again, one thing I want Longhorn Nation to know is they do not read that. The team really isn't paying attention to that. They've got enough guys breathing down their neck, aka their position coaches, and pride. So one, just realize the player is probably not going to be reading that. Two, I think everybody just needs to calm down and look at facts. I think whenever a game like that happens, you gotta look at facts. We go in that game. We've got three true freshman starters playing on the offensive line. We've got a freshman quarterback who's in his first true road game. OU, I kind of count OU. I don't. We blew him out. Game was over at half. He played 30 minutes of competitive football, like you referred to, Landon. So let's look at this. So 2:30 game, nationally televised game. We've got at least 6 true freshmen starting at some point in the game, 6 or 7.
Before all the injuries happened in the secondary, it would have been more. Yeah,
it was quite a bit. So let's look at that. We've got a young team. We're playing against a team that we shouldn't have beat, right? Going into that game, I know Texas was favored, but you're going against the number 11 team in the country.
Yeah,
They've got one loss.
The number 20 is playing the number 11 at their home.
Number 20 is playing number 11. Home game.
Mm-hmm.
It should be a competitive game, but it should be at the end of the day Oklahoma State winning that game. So let's look at the facts. One, we had a young quarterback who was not throwing the ball very well, and everybody knows that. We're not going to harp on it. But let's look at other facts, too. We ran the ball really, really good. I thought we ran the ball well. I think it was not our best performance running the ball. If you really digest into it, it was a lot of explosive plays in the first half that generated those yards from Roshan, who's been killing it, and then Bijan, who we understand is the best back in the country. But no, it's not a time to freak out. I think it's a time to look at facts. You go and you lose by 7 points, and we didn't play anywhere near our best. And I understand that's where a lot of frustration comes from. But let's look at this, man. We got a young team who, if you're looking at them on paper-wise compared to starts, stats, the personnel of the other team, we really shouldn't have been on the same field. And we go out there and we play our C-minus game, maybe D game, and we still lose by a touchdown. I understand that's not a thing to focus on. We're not going to take, moral victories. But at the same time, we weren't supposed to be in that game.
That's the facts. That's the truth, JP. You're saying it right, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we did not play anywhere near our best, and we still, for 98% of that game, looked like the best team on the field, and that wasn't even close to our best product. So if we're Longhorn fans, I understand. Let's be frustrated. Let's be mad, whatever it may be. One, we're not firing the damn head coach. He's here to stay. He's going to figure it out. We're not firing Quinn Ewers. That's not what we're doing. He is the guy. He's been the guy, and he's going to continue to be the guy. He's not going to have a game like that again because he's going to grow, and that's a competitor that he is. So let's look at the facts. Obviously, it doesn't feel good, but as a person who's been there before, who knows the game a little bit, excited to see what this team can do when we're hitting on all cylinders. Because, again, we played our D-minus game, C-minus game, and we still only lost by a touchdown. Number 11 team in the country.
Absolutely. I want to touch on one more thing real quick before I hand it back off to Mike. If we're talking about firing the head coach, just for Longhorn fans out there that are already in that camp, just so you know, be aware. If you're firing Steve Sarkisian right now, you're also firing Arch Manning. So just keep that in mind, okay? And accept that as your reality if that's the world that you're living in, okay? And now before we get back to the penalty talk and situation, I want Mike to chime in and give us his 2 cents on there. Sorry to take us on a tangent.
Yeah. I don't want to go on a tangent, but I'm so over this fan base and these so-called beat reporters that are going for clickbaits and that are like, we need to, it's Sark in 2 years has, given up in the second half of games, and maybe it's time to start looking for a new coach. He is in year 2 of the program, you idiot. Just stop. Just stop. CJ Vogel, I'm calling you out. You're an idiot. Just shut up. Just shut up for 5 seconds and be an actual beat reporter and be like, oh, man, this and that. Quit trying to get clickbaits and acting like you're some hotshot because you're not, bro. You're a clown on Twitter who just has big fat fingers and wants to say oh, man, here I am. Maybe it's time for Sark to go. He's in What's the total games? 12 plus 6. What are we? 6-3 now?
Games.
5-3?
5-3.
We're 5-3. 8 games. Math. What's that? 20 games into. He's only been here 20 games total.
He's 10-10. He's 10-10 right now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then they're going to be like, and then the follow up to that, and JP's already fucking sticking his head. Excuse my language. Like, well, that's his history. At Washington, he was this, and at USC, he was that. I don't know how
coaches aren't allowed to evolve the way players are. We have to keep that in mind.
No,
as well.
You're right. You're right, guys.
It's ridiculous.
Just what Landon said. You're right, guys. He's the same person he was 10 years ago. You're 100% correct. Nobody, you know what? When you look back at your 10-year past self, I mean, I'm moving to this small town in Coleman, Texas, and I'm literally walking around like Mike Murphy 2.0 and going around and apologizing for the douchebag that I was 10 years ago. The immature person I was, the problems I had, you know what I mean? Just being whoever I was. And the other guy who wants to sit here and be like, put in Hudson, love Hudson, good kid. Just because you have an NIL deal with him doesn't mean you have to push him. And then the best part is this dude talks crap to his fan base. Bro, who cares if you work at a certain big time beat report? What do they call it? Subscribe, dude. I'm so over it. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to go on a tangent. Everybody just, again, we've talked about this. Relax. It's year 2. It's year 2. If you were, what would you rather have? Sark in year 2 with one full recruiting class in his belt at Texas with the number 1 quarterback coming. He just got Quinn. He's got Arch. And as Landon said and made a great point, you lose Sark, you're losing Arch. He's gone. It's another Quinn Ewers, dude. By the way, they're like, oh, Herman didn't do this. Arch Manning isn't coming to play for Tom effing Herman, my guys.
No.
Gals, it's not happening.
They're committing to a coach. They're committing to a coach. The Manning family empire. If
the QB guru. Count on you.
Right. They're in it for they're in the long game. They're not in it for him starting year 1. They're not in it for any of the clout. They're not committing to a school. They're committing to a coach that best gets them to the next level, which is the NFL. That's end goal.
The Texas Longhorns are not the Longhorns of the 2000s. I don't know how to tell you that. You're a blue blood, yes, by definition, but we haven't been anything in 12 years. So this whole I expect Texas to be back. Well, sit down next to the couch with us and just shut up and let them play, and let's just see what happens. I'm a fan. I'm a diehard fan. I don't care about the hat company when it comes to this. I do, but no. Guys, get it together. Stop with the clickbaits. And if you're one of those, if you're a fan and you're talking crap on Twitter or Facebook because you have a voice, which you're allowed to have, use it for positivity. Look at the positives. Look at the growth. Would you rather? This is what I was going to ask. I'm sorry. I got again, and I'm in my tangent. And then we'll go to the other part of the game where apparently we just don't. No one wants to throw a flag on for Texas. Would you rather have Sark in year 2, where he's at, and his recruits, or Jimbo Fisher in year 5, sitting at 3-4, and he just suspended 3 players indefinitely because they smoked weed in a locker room before the game?
Buying them out. Yeah, they're talking about buying them out already.
Come on. You're not having to deal with that. You're having to deal with, oh, man, we lost another close game in year 2 of Sark. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop thinking that you demand success right away. You don't. Just make a bowl game. Baby steps.
Well, that's the thing is most people predicted this team to be 8-4, or 9-3. So 9-3. That's best case scenario in most people's minds. Preseason. This is preseason talk here. 9-3, 8-4 was by all accounts, everybody's expectation.
And then they saw
that's still in play
against Alabama, and then everything changed.
What are we? Yeah, and then all of a sudden, so we play a close game with Alabama, and everybody just, we want to lose sight of what our reality is. And our reality is this is a young team that's got a freshman quarterback that's, there's a lot of missing pieces. This coaching staff in year 2 inherited a foundation that was broken, and they're having to slowly but surely rebuild that.
Multiple
that
coaches,
take more than 1 year.
Not just one coach. They're fixing multiple broken coaches.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So, all right, that's enough on the tangent. I apologize, boys. It just had to be
fired.
It had.
I mean, we're here to be real, to be honest.
I'm the guy. Literally, least intimidated in my entire life. So, don't care if he get mad, tweet at me. I don't care. Your takes are garbage. All right. Plus, I got JP backing me up, so I ain't worried about it. I do 6'7". Plus, Landon's got a rough arm. You know what I'm saying? That
Landon's in the
throwing curveballs.
Watch out now. I'm washed up now. There we go.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It's never happened at their home stadium.
And 15 years ago was probably bullshit too, because you don't play perfect football in a game.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Yeah.
It might have been us. Hell, apparently we're the only two that happens to. So who knows? Yeah.
All year. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
2 holding calls. That's not possible. That's not possible. That's not possible.
Yeah. No, again, some of them were, legit penalties. I'd say half of them were probably, good calls. But I'd say you got to call, like we talked about, you got to call the game evenly. Multiple holding calls that were missed, on Oklahoma State. A few PIs that could have been there. Unfortunately, with the QB play, we didn't get a lot of the PI calls because the ball wasn't, it wasn't catchable, if you will. But again, and then I think I want to go back to this one, being a former offensive lineman, knowing what holding is and seeing a few of those. I think the holding call against Christian Jones, right tackle, I think it was the last series when Quinn
that was
Ewers,
on the big run from Quinn.
Yeah, the big run, game changing. Quinn got
50 yards.
50, yeah,
50 yard. That's a 50-yard flag right there.
50-yard flag, and it was the most bogus holding call I've ever seen. I get it. If
he pancaked him.
It can look like it might have been holding, whatever. Hands are inside. The guy was running the hoop. He just turned and dumped him. Not sure how that's a holding call. Not sure. That one was probably the worst one that I saw. But again, and we're not here to blame the refs for anything because something to live by is don't put the game in the hands of the refs. The Zebras are always going to screw you. Yeah. No.
No. There's.
It is. When you give up, I think it was 111, 112, some weird number. Yards of penalties against you against 0. That is a hard game to win. And again, like I said earlier, which it is frustrating, it is a shitty loss, it's tough. But again, let's look at facts. You still controlled the game for about 90% of that game with 120 yards in penalties against a team with 0 penalties. So again, let's still look at the facts. I mean, the team didn't have a penalty against them and still couldn't take the lead until 5 minutes left in the game. So, again, something positive to look at, but I don't understand how a team has 0 penalties and we have 14 or 15.
No, it doesn't upset me. No, it doesn't. It upsets me. It upsets me that people are gonna kind of take that out of context a bit, because you're failing to understand. Now he's since apologized, and it is a problem. But does it upset me? No, because I understand the competitor. Sometimes you're in that mode, you're in that zone, and you have this tunnel vision, and your only instinct is just to get the hell out of wherever you're at in a place. Yeah. So there's a lot going on now. You are responsible, Steve Sarkisian, right? It can't be to the point to where there's paralysis by analysis, and it's just too much, sensory overload, right? Obviously, but it won't be an issue moving forward. He messed up. He's owned it. The team followed him out because they were all frustrated too. These guys were freaking competitors, man. They were pissed off, and they let the moment get the best of them. Like I said, a young team with just a lot of outside factors, right? But again, a learning experience for everyone. Sark won't let he's owned it, and he said it won't happen again. Therefore, the players obviously have been made aware of the situation as well. It's been addressed. I myself right now, as it sits, it's a non-issue for me. I'm not worried about it anymore. There's bigger problems for this football team right now than a coach getting a little bit frustrated and forgetting about a fight song or the Eyes of Texas, right?
Enrique, yeah, you said it a lot. Oh, Jesus. Oh, goodness gracious. No. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, good one. Yeah. Yeah, no. To answer your question, no, I'm not frustrated with it.
Yeah.
But I do think, and this is all, what I'm about to say is all before he has apologized. He's already apologized. He's accepted it. In the moment, I was frustrated. When you see the picture of, 20 guys on the team stand after the game, it is, frustrating to see. And
that's troublesome for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I texted you guys and I said, the moment this team starts blaming and pointing fingers, we'll go 5-7 this year, really, really quick.
Yeah,
really quick. So hell, I was on the couch, scarfing down Whataburger watching the game, and I was, texting. I'm texting. I can't believe
unapologetically.
No, no one's standing out there for the Eyes of Texas. So I took it out of proportion, even being a former athlete and competitor. So now am I worried about it? I'm not, but. After being on a few teams where the coaches did lose the locker room, I'd say probably 2 out of my 4 years, there was a time when the coaches lost the locker room. Culture was an issue. So for me, I was like, I don't want to see that. How I texted Christian Jones, I said, "Hey man, you're the old guy there. Make sure you lead and show these guys what it's supposed to look like." So in the moment, it was frustrating. Obviously, Sarkisian is taking ownership of it, which is great to see.
Yeah.
No.
Well, now considering 80% of the team followed him directly from the sideline to the tunnel that leads up to the locker room, I would say that we have
they
right
follow
there.
him. They follow him. They follow him. And the way that game ended, I mean, just like I said with the which game was it? Iowa State. The past 5 or 6 years, teams were losing that game. That's a fact. I was on those teams, and it sucks for me to say that. But I just know that's what happened. So I do think that he's got a good grip on the locker room. I don't know if we're going to address this, but I didn't see it on TV. But I did not know what was going on with. I don't know the coach's name and I don't know the player's name, but I saw some player.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was Savion Red. I don't remember the coach. I don't remember
Marion?
what coach it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
go on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say a lot of times that can actually galvanize a unit when teams just see a guy that cares that much to the point to where he has to lose it on a coach. That's competition. And then really you have to check the ego when you're on a squad like that and realize that you're all on the same team fighting for the same goal. So like the coach, even to player like hierarchy is different when you're on the field of battle. Like you're two guys in the heat of the moment trying to figure something out. And so at times your tempers flare, and especially in a situation like that where things aren't going well and you're on the road and things are frustrating, you're having trouble communicating. And so, yeah, man, it's guys competing. That's all it is to me. Nothing more than that. And also, too, real quick, I wanted to also chime in just in terms of losing the locker room real quick. Just wanted to get this out there, too. Who are the leaders on this Texas football team right now? Just ask yourself that question for a second. And you'll probably, all of us will. I know who they are. It's the captains, but most notably Roshan Johnson and Bijan Robinson. Those two guys, you think you do any of us sitting here right now and anybody listening, does anybody think that those two guys are going to allow that locker room to waver right now? I don't. I sure as shit don't. Because I know enough about those two guys and who they are as men and their character that defines them well beyond what their athletic talent will ever be able to do. Right? I'm not worried about that. That's just me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I agree. Yeah, I mean, no reason to harp on the situation. I just want to ask if any of you guys had any insight on that, because it was like it looked a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
TV. I was like, all right, let's relax.
In non-prime time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad. And Quinn knows it too, and he'll be better for it. Whatever. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, there's a lack of rotation with the. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We hope. Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, it's been a rough go for him so far.
16 targets, 4 catches for Xavier. Yeah. 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 So just a couple things I have on that just are I noticed it was bad. Go ahead. Guys gotta fail. He's gotta fail forward at some point. He's gotta feel the fire, and he felt it, and he'll be better because of it. That's really all that I have to offer on that. But an entire career's worth of performances that got him to this point, that moment on Saturday, it's not outweighed and overruled by what happened in that game. It's a one-off at this point. That's all it is. It's a one-off. And until we see, future evidence of that, which I do not expect, then we can have a different discussion. Now, the only other thing I wanted to say, the body language from Xavier Worthy, who was obviously, yet again, we've already talked about this, frustrated guy, a competitive guy that wants the football. He's frustrated because things aren't going well. Well, to me, it seemed like, and this is just bird's eye view, couch coach over here, but it seemed like a couple of the early incidences of Quinn missing him, maybe in the first quarter of the first half, kind of spiraled and worked its way into future frustration and mishaps, if you want to say. Like, I noticed a couple times it looked like he was kind of giving up before the ball was thrown, or before he had chance to really go track it. It looked like he was kind of loafing on a couple of those. But again, young kid, it's only in year 2 for him. There's still a lot of football left to be played. He'll learn from that as well. And I'm sure that Coach Marion has already addressed that. How you play without the football, whether it's being thrown in your direction or not, determines how much you love your teammates. That's the motto. That will continue to be the motto. And that's why I feel like having these rough patches, these moments of growth, you fail forward. You've always learned more from the losses than you do from the wins. And so I expect that to be a good thing heading into a bye week for a bunch of young kids that still really don't know what it means to win yet.
Yeah.
I'm not. Admittedly, I'm glass half full guy. So, but that's how I am. That's how I see it. So,
trust me. Yeah. Are you? I am. I'm with Orlando. Always have some incredible insights. I do agree with you, but I don't want to overpredict either. We don't know how he's going to respond because we've never seen it. So
exactly.
it's going to be exciting. I was talking with ex-lineman as well, Derek Kerstetter, great player, obviously, for Texas. He said, "Yeah, man, I'm excited. We'll see what this guy's made of because, like you said, every quarterback has had that game." At a young point in their career where it's like, damn, like, is he this guy? Just like we're talking about now. Are we worried? Are we not worried? Longhorn Nation's like, oh, my God, let's try Hudson Card. Shut up. That's not going to happen. His time is done at Texas. Great kid. And you had him, but y'all didn't want him. So that's it. Put it to bed. But, yeah, no, super excited to see how the kid bounces back, man. Don't know how he will. Nobody does until we take that first snap against, Kansas State, right? Am I saying that right, Kansas State?
Yeah.
It's
a perfect time.
And laughing and having fun. I hope this week of practice was, and here's how I see it being the next player. I hope this week of practice was intense. I hope there was intent behind the practices. I hope we gained a lot of experience and practice and reps and things that we needed to be and get better at. But I hope those guys were out there just throwing the ball, man. Hitting deep balls, throwing it around. DB, if Deshaun Jameson plays good coverage against Xavier Worthy, picks it off, get it back, throw another one. Get one to Jay Witt, get Kane involved. I hope this week of practice it's physical and we get better at what we need to get better at. But I do hope that everybody takes a deep breath and says, hey, let's look at where we're at right here. We're in a really exciting position in this season. Obviously, Saturday is really shitty, but let's look at what we've got ahead of us. We've got 2 top 25 games coming up, 1 away and 1 back in our home stadium at DKR. Kids should be really excited. Brush the loss off, but this week of practice should be exciting, flying around, playing physical, recharging the batteries Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then attack on Monday. So super excited. They should be too.
Heck yeah. That's it.
Can't. Yeah,
Yep.
pretty crazy.
Yep.
It's 4 slugfests.
Yeah.
Lando.
Well, I mean, there's, like I said, any given Saturday in the Big 12 this year, right? But the thing that K-State does well is what Texas also does well defensively. And that's kind of, it's like, this was all a perfect concoction of just, it had upset written all over it. Or it just, I shouldn't say upset, obviously, because clearly we weren't the favorite, but it should, like, had let down written all over it, given what Oklahoma State likes to do and what they do well, which is off-script stuff, improvisation, and then deep vertical and aerial attack through the air with a veteran quarterback that's been there for a very long time, right? So if there's any team capable of coming back from a double-digit lead, 2-touchdown lead, whatever, it's that team. Now, Texas still only gave up, I think, 3 yards per carry on the ground. So they're still stopping the run very well, and they're running the football very well, which is what championship caliber teams do. And then you sprinkle in a little bit of offensive creativity, a quarterback that can deliver on time and on target, then things get really exciting. And we're still, we're still the most talented team in the Big 12. So if you use this bye week the way that it's intended for growth and for regrouping and figuring things out, right? Finding out your tendencies and adjusting your game plans accordingly. That's the reason why I'm not panicking here. But, so I think all 4 of these games are winnable games for Texas. You go on the road against a team that really wants to run the football. You stop the run really well. I think you can go toe-to-toe with them. Yeah. Yep.
No.
Yeah, he exited the game this past Saturday, for those who aren't aware, and they're back. Yeah. So lots of stuff still in the air. Jalen Daniels, obviously at KU, there's still some question marks with his health. They haven't been the same team, obviously, with their backup quarterback and Jason Beam coming in and replacing him, who's still a really good player as well. That offense looks good, headed by Lance Leipold. But obviously, man, honestly, to predict really which team I think we're good. The toughest, I think, I want to call TCU the toughest, even regardless of where it's at. I think that's
hands down.
Yeah.
Damn good.
So we'll even have that game at home, but just recency bias, given what I've seen, right? Without seeing how we adjust, I'll chalk that one up to TCU there. But I think Texas, there's no reason to think that we can't win any of the other 3 games and should feel confident about doing so. Do you disagree with that, JP?
Yeah, no, I think we're beating K-State on the road. I think it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a 4-quarter game. It's going to be a physical game. And that's when we've got to do what we do best, and that is run that ball with Roshan and Bijan and get creative with Jordan Whittington. For the love of God, can we get Jordan Whittington the ball?
Yeah, man.
Please.
He only had 4 targets last week.
He has earned the right to get a lot of touches because of his effort when he doesn't have the ball, which is something you alluded to, Landon. But I'll say Kansas State going to be a really big game. Super excited for it. I think we get that win. And I know we say it every week, but I can't harp on it even more. This team, when fully healthy, plays their best. There's no reason we don't finish this season with 10 wins. 9 wins regular season in a bowl game. And then what's the best part about that is now none of these talks happen. It's no more is Clark the guy, is Quinn the guy. They went out and get 10 wins. Then it's super exciting going into the season. But again, we don't know what team will show up. But K-State, I got them winning against K-State.
Yeah, I got a lot of confidence in this coaching staff. I'll just put it that way.
That's fair.
That's fair.
This is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Hmm. Yep. Yep. That used to be me. So emotional. Yep. 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 I usually just yell a bunch of curse words and then I instantly feel better and then I don't have to worry about it anymore. Your burner. Yeah. Right.
Peace.
See ya. Hook 'em.